在堪培拉有这样一个地方，你可以畅所欲言，分享你我的生活。欢迎走进1323会客厅。
今天呢，我们会客厅也还是非常荣幸的邀请到了咱们Geoff Kettle 先生，他呢是前Goulburn的市长，现在呢是我们的一个Canberra区的一个咱们堪培拉的自由候选人，他所代表的党派呢应该是叫 Canberra Community Voters。那么现在呢，请Geoff 先生呢我们先打个招呼。Hi, Geoff.
G'day, John. How are you going?
Nice to meet you to come to our program.
Thank you very much for the invitation again.
Yeah, thanks for your talk with all the Chinese communities in Canberra.
Yes.
And we can broadcast, cover all the ACT areas.
That's good.
Yeah. And can you just have a brief introduction of yourself and your parties?
Yes. Well, look, everybody would probably be aware that I was the former mayor of Goulburn up until this year, September. I have moved back to Canberra, however, been living in Canberra now since January. And prior to being the mayor of Goulburn, I was working in Canberra in the private sector. And many years ago, I was a police officer here in Canberra. But I've been very, very well aware of the upcoming ACT election. And I was a member of the Liberal Party. I am a Conservative, but as a lot of people in the Canberra region are disillusioned with both the mainstream political parties, I was approached by Richard Farmer, who's been a long-time lobbyist, particularly for the Labor Party, and he worked in Bob Hawke's office, has done a lot of lobbying work for clubs, the tobacco industry, and basically a lot of lobbying work. Now, we have formed this party with like-minded individuals who are independent thinkers, some from the left, i.e. the Labor Party, some from the right, myself and one of the candidates in the seat of Kurrajong are former members of the Liberal Party. And we want to see a crossbench or a group of independents be elected to the ACT Legislative Assembly on the 15th of October, basically to provide a level of scrutiny and maintain open and consultative government, and to stop a lot of the cronyism and rorts and I suppose unscrupulous contract decisions that have been exposed particularly recently in the last week from the Auditor General of the ACT's report into some land acquisitions that were done by the Land Development Agency that have been exposed as being, I suppose, less than proper transactions. Oh. And I come from a background in New South Wales local government where there is a body, the Independent Commission Against Corruption, that is formed that can stop a lot of this cronyism, corruption, if you like it, unscrupulous procurement of government contracts, of government purchasing happening. Now, last week, after speaking with you the week before, I received a letter from a disillusioned staff member of the Land Development Agency who didn't want to be identified because of fear of repercussions of his job. But in that letter, he basically echoed what came out in the Auditor General's report. There is a lot of improper goings-on in that government agency. So, look, what Canberra community voters, and particularly I want to do, is become elected to the Assembly to demand for the formation or introduction of an Independent Commission Against Corruption. I want to strongly advocate for openness and transparent government. I want to be able to scrutinise government legislation, whether it be the Labor government or a Liberal government. I am a Conservative, I'm a former member of the Liberal Party, so I'm openly supporting the Liberal Party. I would like to see a change of government in the Australian Capital Territory. We've had a Labor government now for over 15 years. And when a government has been in power a long time, particularly in a democratic nation, they become overconfident. They become cocky. And they tend to become lazy to what people really want. I pride myself on being a very good communicator, being a very good listener, being able to engage with various stakeholder groups, including the Chinese community, including the business community, the church community, the government community, the emergency services community, and the service industry community. Schools, everybody needs to have a say in what happens in their government.
Yeah, that's right. So is that your party or the independent parties or independent candidate? It's just same as just like a third party, just between the Labour and the Liberal.
It certainly is. It's a mix of, as I said, people from the left, the Labor Party, people from the right, the Liberal Party, who really believe that mainstream political parties, for want of a better word, John, need smartening up, and they need scrutiny.
Yeah, and can you, Geoff, can you give all our listeners, and especially our Chinese listeners, some education about the next week's election, the ACT elections, like how we vote and what's the elections and how many years once get an election? And
well, look, this year, 2016. Is the election year. Elections in the ACT are held every 4 years. The ACT Legislative Assembly has a fixed 4-year term, so they're held in October every 4 years. This year, though, the Assembly is increasing in size. It's going from 3 electorates to 5 electorates of 5 members each. So we're going from an Assembly of, 17 people to 25 people. And it's the biggest opportunity that we've had to install a crossbench or a group of independents that will help to decide who will become the next Chief Minister and that will help to decide who will form government.
All right. So this time, it's 15th of October.
15th of October. However, you are able to vote now. If you live in the seat of Ginninderra, and you won't be in Belconnen or in Canberra on the 15th of October, you can now vote at the Belconnen Community Centre down in the Belconnen Town Centre, and those polls are that voting centre is open from 9 till 5. The rest of this week. On Friday, it's open till 5 o'clock. Saturday, it's open all day, and it's open all next week until 8 o'clock next Friday night. So you can go down there and you can vote. And I'm asking for the Chinese community to vote 1 for Geoff Kettle, Canberra community voters, and then 4 other candidates of your choice. If you wish to vote for the Liberal Party, which I know a lot of you will want to do, I'm happy for you to vote for the Liberal Party. Vote 1 for the Liberal Party, then vote for Geoff Kettle, Canberra community voters 2, and then vote for 3 other people. Right. Because preferences in this election are very important. Don't just vote 1, vote 1 to 5. Happy for you to vote for the Liberal Party, no problem with that. Please don't vote Labor or the Greens. Vote the Liberal Party or Canberra community voters, 1 to 5.
And so is that so when we're going to vote, and we can see how many people's name, how many candidates' name on the
I think
list?
In the seat of Ginninderra there's 39 candidates. So there are the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, the Greens, our party, Canberra community voters, the Sex Party, the Liberal Democratic Party, and I think that then there are a group of independents.
Oh, sorry. I think we just got a phone call from our listeners. Just 1 second. 喂，你好。
你好。
你好。感谢您打进电话来啊。您怎么称呼啊？
我姓刘，免贵姓刘。
姓刘啊，你好，刘先生。我们现在正在做这个节目，这个现场节目呢，和Geoff Kettle 先生聊聊这个下个星期这个 ACT 大选的一些问题啊。他呢也是代表了这个一个叫Canberra Community Voters 这个他自己成立一个党派的一个声音啊。这个您看看有什么问题？然后您是说英文吗？还是说中文？ 如果
说英文吧，
那说英文
就直接跟他讲，
直接跟 Geoff 先生来做一个沟通，好吗 ？Hi Geoff,
好的
just that's our listeners, Mr. Liu.
Mr. Liu,
yeah. Just have some questions. Talk with you.
Yes, of
That's
course.
Okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. 您请问吧。
Hi Geoff, how are you today?
I can't hear him.
You can't hear? Just one second.
Hello.
您稍等一下啊。
好的。
您请讲。喂。
喂。
I can hear him now. Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah. 您可以问他了。
Hi Geoff.
Hello, how are you, Mr. Liu?
Good. How are you today?
Really well, thank you. Really well.
Yeah, and I'm just driving and I just listen to this radio and just have like 2 questions
Yes, of
about
course.
about our like Belconnen. I live in Belconnen
Yes.
now, and I just have 2 questions about the lake generator. It had a very beautiful views of the lake.
Yes.
But now I heard that like in the future maybe we will build a lot of commercial building around the lake. I heard they have this kind of plan. So that's the first question is that I'm just a little bit concerned about whether we can keep the good view of the lake after we have those like all commercial buildings in the future.
Look, I will certainly be advocating for no strong industrial development around Lake Ginninderra. Lake Ginninderra is there for a purpose, and it's there for recreational purposes for our community. It's there for people to take their families for a walk around the lake to recreate, to relax. So, in my opinion, I will strongly advocate for no industrial development around the lake, although there is a development happening just
just
the
like
university and stuff like that. But no commercial development and no development that will take away from the natural beauty of the lake.
I love Belconnen very much. I think the view, I'm very proud of the view of the lake.
It's very good.
This provide a lot of entertainment for the local people there. And I just heard that along the London Circle, the London Burger and the subway there on the Emu Bank Street.
Yes.
All the small buildings will be gone, and there will be like a big tall towers there, and not possible. Is that possible?
Well, look,
no?
there is some high-rise development happening there at the moment. I'm not aware of any future high-rise, but if there is, we will need to make sure that high-rise is sympathetic, as I said,
that's
to
good.
the lake.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. And my second question is that I'm a big basketball fan.
Good on you. My wife plays basketball.
Thanks. And close to the lake, there are 2 basketball courts there.
Yes.
And I just noticed that after I came here for around 3 or 4 years time, there was no maintenance about the basketball stands. And I can see sometimes some small kids are playing there.
Yeah.
I was concerned maybe it's kind of risky,
Yeah, of course. Okay, look, I can take that on board, and even if I don't get elected, I can still take that on board and make sure that there is some work done on that. Because
do some simple maintenance about the basketball stand there.
Yes, I do have very close relationships with the Liberal Party and Jeremy Hanson and his party, and if he's elected and I'm not, I will pass those concerns of yours on to him.
Mm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. That's all. Thanks.
Good on you. Thanks, Mr. Liu. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
感谢刘先生啊。好，感谢刘先生，好，谢谢。
没事，好，拜拜。
拜拜。OK， 非常感谢这个刘先生啊 ，Thank you, Geoff. That's our listeners and probably he's living just Belconnen, same as me. I'm living Belconnen too. So I think there are many Chinese peoples, whatever students, families, they all living Ginninderra. So what's a Ginninderra cover? Is that all the Belconnen belongs to Ginninderra?
It covers all the suburbs in Belconnen, out as far as Dunlop. Charnwood is the furthest east. It does not include Everett or anything further west. That is all now in the new seat of Yerraby. Okay, so it's the main suburbs of Bruce, Belconnen, on the southern side of Belconnen Way, down as far as Holt, back into Hawker, Witangra, Skull and Page, all the Belconnen town centre, into Aranda, Bruce, and out as far as Dunlop, Charnwood, and all those down.
But why the election, the suburbs, the area is different? Is
Why is it different?
Like why not? Like Geoff, you just represent to Belconnen. why is Gendera?
Well, because it's worked on population.
Population.
Okay, so the ACT population is fast approaching 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So to give the population decent representation, they have split it into 5 electorates of between 50 and 60,000 people each.
Oh yeah, that's the reason. So how about the city?
The city is in the electorate of Kurrajong.
Kurrajong. Oh.
Yes, so that's the electorate directly adjacent to Ginninderra, and then further south there is Molonglo and Brindabella.
How about the Gungahlin?
Gungahlin is Yerrabi.
Yerrabi.
That's the electorate of Yerrabi.
Yeah, because I think this 2 suburbs is most Chinese people's living, Belconnen and Gungahlin.
And Gungahlin.
Yeah.
Well, as long as those Chinese people that in Belconnen vote for myself or the Liberal Party, and those in Yerrabi should be voting for the Liberal Party, because we are not having candidates in Yerrabi. Oh, really? We only have candidates in Ginninderra and Kurrajong.
All right.
Yeah, so those Chinese people that are not able to vote for me in Belconnen, I encourage them to vote for the Liberal Party in Yerrabi.
Yeah. So what's just one second. So can you just tell us as you know, the Liberal and Labour, what's the major difference, different political opinions or something?
Well, the biggest difference between the current government and the opposition, the Liberal Party, is that the current government is advocating to build the light rail.
Yeah.
The Liberal Party does not want to do that, and I agree with that. Yeah. It is a investment in infrastructure that we really do not know the cost. The first stage of the light rail is going from Gungahlin to the city. It is going to see, if it is built, if the Labor Party is re-elected, it will be built. And it's going to cost a heck of a lot of money to service very few people.
Yeah, that's right.
I am not doubting that eventually a light rail or different forms of public transport will be needed in the Australian Capital Territory. But right now, I think that we have more pressing things that we need to concentrate on, i.e. health, hospitals, local planning, local parks, roads, education, making sure that we have a properly resourced police force to handle and to adequately cope with the increasing population.
Yeah. From my experience or opinion, I think I'd rather prefer a hospital.
Yes.
Because I just my wife just pregnant and got a new baby.
Right, and of course
only 2 hospitals, big hospitals in Canberra now. I think it's not enough.
Well, of course, the Liberal Party have promised to build a brand new Canberra hospital. Yeah. They have also promised to build 2 subacute centres, one in Gungahlin and one in Tuggeranong, to increase health services for the whole of the ACT.
All right, just one second. Oh yeah, I think there's some other listeners ring us. Just one second. 喂，你好。
你好。
哎，你好。请问您贵姓啊？你怎么称呼啊？
姓江 Serena。
Serena 啊，感谢您的电话。那个，我们现在正在跟那个 Geoff 先生做一个现场的一个节目，咱们一块儿来探讨一下关于这个下个星期啊，就近期的一个 ACT 一个大选的一些问题。那个 Geoff 先生现在应该就可以听到你的声音。So Geoff, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear Serena. How are you, Serena?
Hi, Geoff. How are you?
Really well, thank you. You?
That's good. That's good. I'm perfect.
You're perfect. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So just want to ask about the Canberra community voters.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about this fairly new party?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are a new party. We were formed earlier this year by Richard Farmer, who is a long-time lobbyist and former Labor Party staffer. We are made up of a group of independent-thinking people, both males and females. I'm a former member. I'm a former member of the Liberal Party, and I'm a Conservative. I'm hoping to try and help change the government in the ACT. We need a new government. But the main stance of Canberra community voters is to advocate for stopping of all the cronyism and the cosy relationships that have been going on between the unions and the Labor Party in Canberra for far too long. We also need an anti-corruption commission. We don't have one. That needs to be formed. that will be able to police the actions of government. And we are also advocating to stop the poker machines going into the casino, because we don't believe that is the right decision. We believe that will bleed our local clubs, therefore bleeding funding to our local sporting and family groups. And what we want to do if we're elected, I will work with either party who gets elected, but I will be there to scrutinise and demand for open consultative government and to have an anti-corruption commission formed.
Yep. Given that I saw that you were taking the position of media and policy advisor to the federal member of Hume.
That was a long time ago, yes.
Yeah,
that's Schultz, yes, that's right, yes.
Do you think that would sort of impact you on preference to the Liberal Party, maybe?
Yes, of course it would, because I am a former member of the Liberal Party and I still retain my conservative views, and I support the actions and the promises of what Jeremy Hansen's Liberal Party is promising for the ACT. I would openly support him if he became Chief Minister.
Yeah, you would still share the Liberal values.
I certainly do. I will never lose my Liberal values. But what I am disillusioned with is a lot of the strict adherence that you must have if you're a member of a political party. When I worked for Albie Schultz, who Albie, by the way, passed away about 12 months ago, just after 12 months ago. But when I worked for him, I learnt of his values, his strong independence and his ability to challenge the opinions and the policies of the Liberal Party should he did not think that they were right for the community. And I will do the same.
Yeah. I'm not so sure if the Canberra community voters is only about the state election or...
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's only been formed to contest the ACT election.
Yeah, okay. So different candidates.
There are different candidates, Canberra. Yes. Where do you live, Serena?
I live in Victoria.
You live in Victoria? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No, the Canberra.
Yeah, but I love Canberra.
Yeah,
I love Canberra.
Well, you should move here and you should move to Belconnen and vote for me, but it's too late because you need to be on the electoral roll. So.
I'm thinking of moving to Canberra. I'm a Liberal member as well.
Well, there you go. So there you go. So we are both of the same ideology.
Yeah, but what interests me is since all the candidates in this Canberra community voters, they share different values, as in Liberal or Labor or something else.
Yes.
Would there be conflict at all?
No, I don't believe so, because I've been able to pride myself in my former role as Mayor of Goulburn with being able to work with both sides of politics. I have very strong connections. I had very strong and retain very strong connections with the Labor Party when the Labor Party was in power federally. And now I have very strong connections to the Liberal Party who are in power federally. So when you work in a position as a mayor or when you become a member of the Legislative Assembly, particularly if you're independent, you must be able to work with both sides. And even if the government of the day is Labor and you are Liberal and you are in opposition, you should give bipartisan support to good policy and to good community decisions. You should not oppose them for opposing them's sake.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think you will do for the Chinese community in particular if you get to be elected?
We have no particular policy for any individual ethnic group, but I will definitely support and openly advocate for the Chinese community in Belconnen, which I know there is a big community, and I know the majority of the Chinese community in Belconnen work very, very hard, and a lot of them are in small business. So I need to give strong and full support to hard-working business people to make sure that there is not too much red tape for them to cut through.
Fair enough. So one last question. What's your prediction for this election?
I wish I had a crystal ball, Serena. I do not know. and that is because we're a victim of a voting system, the Hare-Clark voting system, which is a hard system to get a clear majority vote. with hair clerk, and it also has involved in it Robson rotation. Do you understand what that is?
Sorry?
Do you understand the principle of Robson rotation within the hair clerk system of voting?
Not much.
Okay, so that simply means that when you went to vote in the federal election in the House of Representatives, you may have had 5 or 6 candidates, and they are numbered 1 through 6 on the ballot paper. In the ACT election, every candidate rotates on the ballot paper. So if I'm 1 on the ballot paper that you pick up, I could be 3 on the ballot paper the next person picks up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you must look for my name to vote for me if you're in the ACT.
Oh, interesting. But do you also have the how to vote card to let people know how to
Yes, I do. I am handing out a how to vote card, particularly at the pre-poll, telling people to vote 1 for me and then to vote for 4 other candidates in my party.
Yeah, but it rotates in the ACT one.
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very, very hard to put out a how to vote card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't do it because you don't know where you're going to be on the ballot paper.
Oh, wow, that's a lot harder.
It is very hard, yes. But it's a fair system. It's a fair system.
Yeah.
Hi, Serena. So is that the ACT election is any different as with Victoria?
Yeah, it's a lot different to the Victorian system.
Yeah, it's very different.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was involved with the just helping to spread, the voice of the Liberal Party with the last federal election.
Yes. Okay. Where did you work? Which member did you work for?
I work for the Liberal Victoria headquarters.
Oh, okay, headquarters. Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
like setting up the WeChat platform and
good.
gathering
good.
volunteers,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
So apparently ACT is very different with Victoria.
It is. Yes.
Our how to vote card is very straightforward.
Yeah, although we do have the Liberal Party in Canberra does have a central headquarters.
And
the Liberal Party in Canberra has its own division, like the Victorian division. There is the ACT division. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, no trouble.
Thank you,
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And listen, if you know anybody in Belconnen, make sure you tell them to vote for me.
Yeah, definitely. I will vote for you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
感谢啊 Thank you, Serena. Thank you. 拜拜。All right. I think you're right, and we just keep the topic about the light rail and hospital. Yeah. If compare with the light rail and hospital, definitely maybe before I will choose light rail, but after my baby is born, I think hospital is more important.
Health is always going to be one of the biggest and most important issues that any government, whether it be a Liberal government or a Labor government, needs to support. Yeah. And of course, the ACT budget itself is very fragile. There is a lot of promises being made by both sides, both the Liberal Party and the Labor Party, and I don't believe that they'll be able to fund all these promises. So, whoever gets in, I think that they're going to have to welch or go back on some of the things they've promised, because I just don't think there's enough money in the bank to do what they need to do.
Yeah, we know that about 2 years before, the government cut over 10,000 public jobs in ACT.
Yep.
And at that time, a lot of people very afraid that the Canberra will got recession. The economy, everything's the property price, market price will be down, and like recessions, and or many people very fear about that. But now, after this 2 years, what do you think the effect of the job cutting and the economy?
Look, I think that Canberra is very lucky. Yeah, it does hold the federal seat of power, and it does have its own public service, and it also acts as a local government authority as well. So, there is a wide range of jobs within the ACT public service, whether it be a gardener or whether it be a top bureaucrat, and all those positions will either need to be maintained or sometimes increased. But as with any change of government, and as with any level of government, each new government will set its own policy agenda, and there will always be a fluctuation in staff.
Yeah, just like for example, we know that in Sydney, the property market, the property price goes maybe double or triple in the last 10 or 5 years.
That's right.
But Canberra, the property price still stable raised. And so what's the government's opinion about the property or the land price? So the government wants the price goes up or just...
Look, the price for land in Canberra is far too expensive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be that expensive, and that is a hangover or a problem that has been created by the Land Development Agency and the ACT having control over the release of land. There has not been an open tender process or a competitive tender process for private developers to get involved.
All right. Sorry, just 1 second. Oh, probably we got another incoming calls. 喂，你好。
Hey, 你好。
Hi. Hi.
I can speak English.
Yeah, we can speak English. Hi. So how can we? What's your name?
David.
David.
Hello, David. How are you?
Yes, David.
Hi, Geoff. How are you?
Really well, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
So we just talk about the next week's election, ACT elections, and Geoff is one of the Ginadera candidates, and he got his party's name is Canberra Community's Voters, and we just talk about some things about the ACT's election and the politics changed everything. And if you have any questions, you can ask Geoff, and we can discuss and we can talk.
Yes. Hi, Geoff. How are you?
Really well, David. Yourself?
Good.
That's good.
I noticed that you are basically doing a campaign as the independent member for the community.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, obviously the major two parties, they got more base, more power. So why do you choose this way to do it? Why don't you join one of the parties?
Because like other members of my party, who some were members of the Liberal Party, like me, and some were members of the Labor Party, have become disillusioned that both the big parties are having too much power in the ACT. So therefore, we wanted to create a party of independent, open thinkers that could get elected to the next Assembly to create a strong crossbench of independents that would have a fair amount of power in the formation of the new government. And what we will do, if I'm elected to the Assembly, I will work with whoever is elected. I would hope to see a Liberal government, and I would be more comfortable working with the Liberal Party. But if I'm elected and I have to work with the Labor Party, I will. But I want to be able to scrutinise and openly check all legislation, make sure that the procurement processes and tendering processes are all above board and correct. And I do want to see the formation of a corruption watchdog or Independent Commission Against Corruption, ICAC, formed in the ACT.
Okay, that's really good. So what's in your mind if you are elected in the Assembly? So what would you do in the near future for the community, for Canberra,
I would just
for ACT?
I have no particular promises, and I won't make any promises other than to hold whoever is in government accountable for what they want to do, and to make sure that whatever they promise or whatever they want to do is fully funded, fully costed, and is the right decision for the community. And
good.
I'd also, sorry, David, I'd also want to make sure that due and proper community consultation is undertaken on every piece of legislation. I don't want to see governments just jump in and do things because they're in government because they can. What a government is there to do is to do the right thing for the community and to consult with their community.
Okay, sounds really good. I think, Geoff, Canberra is a very, very unique city.
It is.
So it is a city, but also you can call it a town.
And that is what I have to offer, David. I was the Mayor of Goulburn, so therefore I have experience in running a city. All things right down to sweeping the streets, picking up the garbage, looking after the septic systems, looking after the sewage, looking after parks, gardens, libraries, art galleries. So the ACT has to do all that as well as look after state responsibilities such as health, education, police and public transport.
Okay, great. Can I ask a few questions about, so from your mind, I noticed you just moved back to Canberra. So what's the current issue facing the communities in Canberra?
Where are you calling me from, David?
Belconnen.
Oh, you're in Belconnen? Marvellous. Well, I think the major issues for this election are to restore openness and transparency and get rid of cronyism and corruption and sweetheart deals that have been done between the current government and unions without due and proper process. So my main mandate, should I be elected, will be to make sure whoever is the Chief Minister and forms government after the 15th of October does everything under due process. I'll also want an independent commission against corruption formed so that things that happened like last week within the Land Development Agency that the Auditor General released that were done in inappropriate ways do not happen again.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting story. We would imagine in a national capital city, Canberra, that kind of thing shouldn't happen, but apparently it happened.
Well, it can, David, and the reason it can happen is because we do not have an anti-corruption body. There is no ICAC in the ACT, so there is no independent body that is set that can scrutinise and even take things further and charge people for inappropriate conduct.
Okay. You mentioned the possible corruptions. So
yes.
How about other issues facing the Canberra community?
Oh, obviously, the main issues that are faced in the Canberra community face every other community, and that are health, transport, education, policing, and jobs, and growing the economy. I commend Andrew Barr and his government for working with Singapore Airlines to create direct flights through to Singapore and to New Zealand and on into China, which will bring a lot more people to the ACT and make people spend more money here. I commend him for that. He has run quite a good government when it comes to cooperation within the region. In fact, I work very strongly with him, and I will work strongly with whoever is the next Chief Minister if I'm elected in the region. I was on the board of the Canberra Region Joint Organisation, which is a group of local councils surrounding the ACT and the ACT government that works for the improvement of the region, not just Canberra, but for the whole region.
Okay, sounds really good. But can you explain a little bit more about how the assembly works? Because, like, to our Chinese community, we're not in the politics, yet. We don't really understand the Australian politics systems.
Okay, well,
so how you, as the one independent member, be elected in the assembly?
Okay, well,
can affect
in
the major parties.
In the ACT, there are 5 electorates. I am running in the seat of Ginninderra, which is centred around Belconnen. To the north of me, there is another seat of Yerraby. Into the city, there is a seat of Kurrajong, and in the south, there's the seat of Brindabella and Molonglo. So there are 5 members to be elected in each seat. So in Belconnen, in the Belconnen area, there are 5 members to be elected. The Labor Party are running candidates in Ginninderra, so are the Liberal Party, the Greens, ourselves, Canberra Community Voters, the Sex Party, the Liberal Democrats, and Canberra First, and a few other minor parties, and a lot of independents. So you have 39 candidates to choose from in Belconnen to elect 5 people. And once we form the assembly, then we as a group govern the ACT for the next 4 years.
Okay, interesting. Very, very good. Okay. Geoff, do you want to say anything to our Chinese community members?
Oh, look, all I want to instill in the Chinese community members is that the next ACT government must change. It must be a Liberal government, and it can be that with my support. And I want to say to the Chinese community, if you want to vote Liberal, that is very, very fine. I encourage you to vote Liberal and vote for me number 2. Make sure you vote for 5 people. If you want to vote for me number 1, that's even better. Vote for me number 1 and then vote for another 4 people. Please do not vote for the Labor Party. Please do not vote for the Greens. Vote for the Liberal Party, Canberra Community Voters and other independents.
Okay. Interesting. My last question would be, in Canberra, we hate the situation because there are so many public servants work and live in Canberra.
Yes.
So the city can have different feelings with other cities. We do need the private sector. We do need the active private commercial sector to support the economy, to support the employment. So we can feel the current government is not that encouraging the investment from China, overseas from China, because with other major states like in New South Wales, Victoria, the state governments, they encourage lots of business migrants moving to that state. That really boosts the economy, local economy.
Yes.
But in Canberra, we seldom saw that happen.
Yeah.
And even for the normal small business, which is the backbone to the employment to the economy, you can't see the small business sector is flourishing. So really, what's your view about it? And if you are in the assembly, what you can do to change that?
What we need to do and what we can do in the assembly, particularly if we have a Liberal government, the principles of the Liberal Party are for free enterprise, and they are to support small business and to allow investment into small business. So what we can do there is that we can break up the monopolies that the Labor government have with unions. We can advocate for open and transparent tendering processes so that the private sector get an opportunity to tender for and quote on government business. At the moment, the trade union movement get the first opportunity to quote or have members of their trade unions, businesses that are allied with the trade unions, they get first opportunity to quote on everything. Other businesses don't. That's unfair.
Yes, I agree. That's absolutely unfair.
Yeah. So we need to tear up that agreement that the government has with the unions, and we need to make it. We need to encourage free enterprise and open tendering and open contract processes, and we also need to look at the red tape that small businesses face dealing with the ACT government. We need to make the planning processes, the development application process, the applications for opening a business. We need to make those rules still hard, but not impossible.
Understand. Very good. Okay, Geoff, thank you so much for taking my call.
No trouble, David. Thank you very much for ringing in.
We wish you all the best in the election, and we'll support your views.
Thank you very, very much, and make sure you spread the word.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah. So I think we have many Chinese people. So do you think the Chinese voters is different as the other communities?
Well, look, I think that the Chinese community are different voters to, let me say, the other rank and file voters in the ACT, because the Chinese community, in my view, are very astute and very informed and know what's going on in their community. You would tell me, John, I think that the majority of the Chinese community in Belconnen are in business, yes? Yeah. So they want to be able to deal with the government that helps them and looks after them. And when I say help them and look after them, don't give them preferential treatment. They have to go through the stringent controls of everybody else. But there does not need to be roadblocks and barriers put up to people, particularly in the Chinese community, that want to invest here. As long as the investment is sound, and as long as there is no favouritism given in the investment, I have no problem with it.
I think most of the Chinese community, all the voters, they're concerned about the business, economic, the employment, and their kids or the schools.
That's right.
Educations. Yeah, it's just similar.
That's right. Look, I have a background, as I've told you, in policing. I have a background in working in politics. I have a background in small business. In fact, I owned a small business for 17 years. I owned a news agency for 17 years. So I'm not a person who wants to get into politics or get into the assembly that hasn't been there and done it. I nearly went bankrupt myself in business, and I was able to claw myself back. So I understand the challenges that people have, particularly the Chinese community, have in business. It's hard. It's hard when you've got to employ someone. It's hard when you've got to sack someone. You can't. It's too hard. So, we need to look at ways in which that makes it easy for everybody, not just the Chinese community, but everybody to conduct business.
Yeah, that's right. ACT, just as David just told, it's like the immigration, especially in Sydney and Melbourne.
Yes.
The Sydney, the property market and the economic.
Yes.
There's many Chinese investment monies from overseas.
Look, that's correct, but don't forget, the population of New South Wales is much bigger than the ACT.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have 350-odd thousand people.
Yeah.
I mean, New South Wales have millions and millions of people. So there is probably a bigger opportunity to do business there. But having said that, there is opportunity in the ACT as well.
Yeah. So ACT need not only the public service
we
job,
need private sector as well.
We need private sector, and we also need we can attract the big companies.
That's right.
Like in Belconnen, I know there's a HP.
Yes.
The HP, the head office is in Belconnen.
Yes.
And some big companies also in city. And I think we need to attract more big companies come to.
And that's what I'd like to see happen as well. This is the national capital. So it also needs to eventually become the national capital for business as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The capital city in China is Beijing. It's also the big city, largest city, and the very economic city. But it's different as and also I think I remember that Canberra is a sister city with Beijing.
That's right.
And also with Tokyo.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, with a city
yes,
of
that's
Japan.
Right.
Yeah, I think Canberra also this week's or last week got the Florida. Florida.
Yes.
I think you can see many people go there. Is that still?
Florida is still going. Yes,
still going
it runs for another 2 weeks.
That's
and look, the transaction that was done between the ACT government and Singapore Airlines was fantastic.
Yeah.
That will bring a lot of people into Canberra, particularly from China through Singapore.
Yeah, that's another thing I think. That's one thing in my mind, and I won't talk with someone. Now you come, I can talk with you about the tourism industry.
Yes.
The tourism industry is very important for Australia.
Yes, it is.
And
particularly for Canberra.
But Canberra, I think, I'm living here for like 4 years. I think Canberra have many good places.
They do.
But the tourism is, the industry of the tourism is not that very, the active.
No, and that's because we have been very hard to get to.
Yeah, all the people, especially the Chinese, all my friends, they come to Canberra just one day. Morning come, evening or maybe afternoon leave.
Yes.
From Sydney or from Melbourne. Yeah. I think, just except for the winter, they go to the snowy mountain. Yes. Maybe they can stay here for 1 or 2 nights.
Yes.
I think we need to make some things to make Canberra like the people stay here for longer.
Yeah.
Or they can stay here for 1, 2, 3 nights to travel into the warm memory.
Look, there is so much for Chinese visitors to do. They can centralise themselves in Canberra. They can partake in a lot of the activities that Canberra has to offer. The War Memorial, the National Gallery, the National Museum, the Arboretum, the Botanical Gardens. There is so much for people to do. But yet, within an hour's drive of Canberra, there is so much more for them to do. Wineries, the beach, the snow. Yeah. Agricultural businesses. Yeah. So there's, we are the centre of a unique area, and the work that we do must contribute to keeping us the centre of this region. Yeah.
So I hope if you win the election and you can put some, we can improve our Canberra's or the Belconnen Ginadera areas. The tourism industry.
Yes, look, we will. If elected, I will try to do that.
Yeah.
And I will do the best that I can for the Belconnen area. But remembering that the Belconnen area is part of the bigger ACT.
Yeah.
I will work hard as I can for Belconnen. I will work as hard as I can for the Chinese community. But ultimately, I will work as hard as I can for the Australian Capital Territory.
All right. So in the last, we just hope every Chinese people, Chinese communities who's living Belconnen, living in the Ginadera, just vote next Friday. Vote next Friday, and when you see the tickets, Just
look
put,
for me. Look
yeah,
for Geoff Kettle,
put Geoff Kettle
on the voting paper.
So put one.
Put one
Geoff
for
Kettle.
me, and then vote 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully for my party. If not my party, the Liberal Party.
Yeah, because last 1 hour, Geoff already talked with us about his parties and his party's background, his party's policies, his party's and all the future policies. So I think he will make big change for the Canberra, for the Ginadera, for Canberra.
We'll try my hardest, John.
Yeah, I hope that. And after the election, I hope you can come again.
I would love to keep coming and talking to you if I'm elected.
Yeah.
I used to do this when I was the Mayor of Goulburn. I would come into radio every 2 weeks and talk to radio. I'm very, very happy to continue that with you, John, if I'm elected.
Yeah, just come, and we come every week or every
once a fortnight, maybe.
Yeah, and
I'll be pretty busy if I get elected.
Oh yeah, I know. And we can let your voice can be heard by all the Chinese, because
I think it's fantastic.
I think for the Chinese people living here, we won't have a channel to contact this government, because now we don't.
Well, I can assure you that if I'm elected, the Chinese community, particularly in Belconnen and in the whole Canberra region, can come through me.
Yeah. We want to say some things, especially some people buy the property, they have some troubles, and they don't know where to talk.
They can talk to me.
Yeah. So
and if I can't help them, I'll try and put them onto people that can help them.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope. And last, I will speak Chinese to maybe because some of our listeners can't understand English.
Yeah.
所以我在这里跟大家，这是我们 Geoff Kettle 先生呢，他代表的是这个Canberra Community Voters 这个 Party。下周五呢是这个堪培拉的 ACT 的州政府大选的时间。大家可能有投票权的朋友，住在Ginadera，也就是Belconnen附近的朋友，都应该去投票。投票的时候呢，您会看到很多各种从不同 party 来的候选人的名字。那个 Geoff Kettle 呢先生呢，他也会是其中之一。如果您对他的这个政策也好，他的这个就是他这个政党的这些政府的对预期的政策也好，有一些赞同，或者说是比较赞赏他个人的这个能力的话，都可以为他投上一票。1至5，按照您喜好的顺序把它放在任何一个位置，就是看您的了。我们作为媒体也是只能作为一个这个平台了，跟大家来交流一下。明天呢还会有其他的这个候选人，我们会在这个大选之前呢争取多邀请一些这次 ACT 的大选的这个候选人前来跟我们一起来做节目，让他们来聊一聊各自的这个政治理念、政治以后的一些政策，也让我们华人朋友呢能更加的了解这个堪培拉以后的一个发展的一个状况。好的，我们既然生活在这个澳大利亚这个民主国家，生活在这里，就应该充分的理解，也能充分的感受到这里的这个民主的气氛，而且也能够参与其中。好的，那谢谢听众朋友们今天的收听。那我们今天的节目呢就先到这儿了，和 Geoff Kettle 先生呢就这期节目先做到这里了。下次呢肯定他还会有机会再过来的。那我们请 Geoff 先生呢给我们来。Hi Geoff, can you say goodbye?
Thank you very much for having me, John, and very happy to come again next week if you want me to before the election. And let's hope if I'm elected I can keep coming regularly to speak to you and the Chinese community.
All right. Thank you, Geoff.
And remember, vote one Geoff Kettle.
Yeah, Geoff Kettle. Geoff Kettle, the name is
Canberra Community Voters. GEOFF.
GEOFF.
KETTLE.
KETTLE.
Yep.
Yeah. So, OK， 好的。那大家，而且如果有任何问题的话，如果想要问 Geoff Kettle 先生的话呢，都可以跟我们联系。我们电话是0410391323，跟我们联系。我们